Tara here from Meet the Makers. In today's video, we are going to be talking about hand painting. I'm going to show you how I personally hand paint a piece of furniture. And then at the end, I'm also going to include my personal favorite brushes that I currently use in our refinishing shop. So make sure to stay tuned to the end. The project for this tutorial is Erin's privacy screen. This is one of 3 panels. So far, I have repaired the damage. I have cleaned the surface, primed, and painted. The color is called Black Mountain by Superior Paint Co. And I have sealed it with satin varnish. Now it's cured for a couple days, and I have masked off the surface, a special tape that's perfect for this kind of surface because it's a low tack. So I can apply the tape over a freshly painted surface and it won't peel or leave a residue behind. So I'm going to show you in this tutorial how I paint this color, which we're going to be doing a charcoal dark gray, which is called Train Station from Superior Paint Co. So let's get started. Now this is a water-based product, so when you're hand painting, what I like to do is I will do my trim area first with a this is called a Picasso stylus brush. This is a really great brush for getting the trim area. And then for painting the large surface area, I like to use a bigger brush. So this is called the S50. This is made by Klingon. So to start, what I like to do is I'll dip my brush in just simply a cup of water and shake out the excess. And I'm going to start in this one corner to do the trim in. Now, if you notice, I'm not applying too much pressure. My bristles are not bending all sorts of different directions. I'm applying a nice, thin, even coat. If you apply it too thick, it will take forever to dry. And if you apply it too thin, you won't get the proper coverage. So there's really a happy medium between the two. And the more you paint, the more you'll get used to what is the perfect coverage for you. So I'm just going to speed this up and do the edges. So that looks perfect. Now I'm going to take my larger bristle brush. Now this is synthetic bristles. I prefer synthetic bristles over natural bristle brushes because they are finer, less likely to break, less shedding, and they leave a higher finish. So for me, my goal is to not have brush strokes. So when I'm applying the paint, I'm just wiping it on with my brush. And I'm not going back and forth, back and forth. I'm just doing nice, smooth strokes, blending it out until I run out of paint. And once I run out of paint, then I re-dip my brush in. If it looks a little bit hollow, I can quickly go back and just apply just a tad more. But you don't want to go back over the surface too much. If you keep going back and forth, you'll end up pulling the paint off and causing the surface to go gummy. So, like so. And I'm just blending it out so that I don't have a harsh demarcation line from where I stopped and where I started. Now what I love about Superior paints is that they're non-toxic, water-based, eco-friendly. My brush, I'm going to put that in a cup of water. And I'm going to grab this roller. This is a velour roller. It's a very fine roller, and my trick to remove any ridges and to smooth the surface is I will just lightly roll the surface. Okay, I'm not stopping or starting, I'm just doing one nice smooth stroke. And I'm overlapping halfway through, and I'm also having this lead my way. So this will smooth out the surface, smooth out any ridges from hand painting. It'll pick up a little bit of paint, so if I applied too much in the corners, it will pick that up and blend it out, so it's not heavy anywhere. Okay, that's perfect. Now I'm going to let this dry, and I'll be back in about half an hour to 45 minutes, and I'll show you what it looks like. I'm ready to apply my second coat, but before I do that, I'm going to use a 600 grit sanding pad. The 600 grit sanding pad is going to lightly smooth the surface, and if any little dust particles fell onto the surface while it was drying, it'll pick those up and make it buttery smooth. Now this looks a little dirty. Don't throw it out. All you have to do is rinse it out in the sink with warm water and let it dry, and you can reuse them many times over. This is a fresh Wonder rag, and this will pick up any dust particles. I love it because it won't leave behind any lint. You could see all the sanding dust here. Now these are washable and reusable, so I prefer using these over a shop towel. What I like to do after I'm done painting a project and I know I'm not going to use the color for a while, I'll rinse the lid out with warm water, remove any dried paint particles. Now the nice thing about Superior paints is that they actually have a built-in primer. So if you don't want to prime first, you don't have to. In our shop, we always prime first. The reason for that is if there's any imperfections, they will be highlighted once they're painted white. Now, also, the joys of a primer is that it'll add extra adhesion, and it will also, if you do have any tannins, which is called bleed through, if there is any tannins that come out, you can deal with them right away before you go any further. So I have the panels here. I've applied 2 coats of paint. Now I want to do one more light sand with my 600 grit sanding pad. I'll clean the surface off, remove the tape, and then I'm going to apply 2 coats of sealer, and then this project will be complete. So I want to say thank you so much for making it to the end of this video. And as promised, I wanted to share with you my favorite brushes that I use in the shop on a daily basis. So number 1 is the one that I used in the video, and that is the Klingon S50. This is a great brush. It feels amazing in my hand. It's nice and lightweight. After that, I would say the Klingon Oval I use. This one is great for spindles and curved surfaces. It really helps prevent getting any runs. Now for wall painting, this is my go-to brush, and this is called the Klingon F50. This is a nice large brush, perfect for doing any trim-in work. Now there's a couple other ones. This one here is a poly brush or a foam brush. This I use when I'm in the spray booth. If I sprayed an area that's a little too heavy, what I'll do is just lightly dampen this with water and wipe off any excess paint. And This one here, which is an itty bitty tiny artist brush. This is great if I'm sanding a surface and I need to do a little bit of a touch up. This is excellent for that. And finally, last but not least, this is the Proform 2-inch brush. This brush is my favorite brush to lend out to people. Personally, I hate lending out my favorite brushes, so this is the guy that I always give to friends. If you want to borrow a brush, this is my go-to brush to lend out to them. Anyways, if you have a favorite brush, why don't you let us know in the comments below? And I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye-bye.